I will answer your question as part of my reply to Mr. Yuas, and there's plenty to comment on what he said, because of course I do appreciate that he is a citizen of Ukraine, and that might cloud his intellectual judgment, because apparently he has not been following the news. The Ukrainian armed forces are being crushed on the battlefield in eastern Ukraine, and Russia is advancing on an unprecedented pace, rather. And I do not know where does the assessment come from that Russia is not the Soviet Union. Russia is far from being as powerful as the Soviet Union. They do not profess the power or the ability to conduct a wide-scale war in order to invade Europe, and they would never dare attack NATO, because that will mean their nuclear annihilation, or a mutual annihilation of both parties, and basically an apocalypse for the entire world. So I think that this kind of rhetoric basically does not reflect the realities on the ground. The realities on the ground are the Russian economy has withered, has survived the economic sanctions. They have established very strong economic ties with the global south and with China. Russia is a net exporter of energy. Russia is still has a strong economy. Putin enjoys rather unprecedented public support, according to polls that were carried out by opposition groups inside Russia, some of them funded by the United States and US aid, now that the now almost defunct USAID. So I honestly do not know how we are still thinking in the same way and speaking in the same way as we were speaking in 2022. Oh, Russia is about to collapse. Oh, Russia will witness a revolution. Oh, Russia this, Russia that. This is not true. This is destroying Ukraine. You know, actually, this is one of the few things that I might agree on with the Trump administration. This war needs to be settled in a way that ensures the survival of the Ukrainian state as a coherent state, not just as a rump state, or even as a state that has been completely destroyed by a wave of Russian invasion and aggression. I would agree with that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let me give Mr. Yuas the right of reply to those comments made there by Dr. Osman.
Yes, of course we should understand that Russia preserved its economy after 3 years of full-scale war, but it doesn't mean that the situation is so ideal one. You know, if you switch on Russian TV, they said that they are they're not even ready, that they are actually in war with NATO. They're not talking that NATO helping Ukraine. They said, no, we're in war in NATO. And when, yes, it's meaningless. But it's nonsense. Yes, I agree that it's nonsense, nevertheless. For Russia, it's absolutely normal thing to say that we're in war in NATO. As for Russia economy, you know, sometimes we joke that foreign experts, US experts, European experts, are more optimistic about Russian economy as the Russian National Bank or Russian Central Bank. Because Russian Central Bank in the previous year made a forecast that in this year they can face with collapse of their reserves. Reserves that help to Russia in 2022, 2023, and 2024 could be equal to zero in 2025, because they constantly use it. Only in December, Russia used 1/3 of their reserves just for covering our problems. And it means that now in their reserves, they have figure that could be equal to demand of the current year, furthermore, not for whole year.
What about the Ukrainian economy? Ukraine is defaulting on debt. How about that?
Yeah, of course, Ukraine have problems too, but let's be frank.
It's in shambles, my friend. It's in shambles.
Well, you asked the question, Dr. Osman, let him answer.
Yeah.
Yes, Ukraine, of course, has problems. It's not a secret, but Ukraine has very good partners. European Union, Japan, South Korea. It's countries, not the last economy in the world. And with Russia, who is with Russia? Belarus could not seriously help to Russia. China is not the country that will help to Russia. China has its interests, but they are not planned to seriously help to Russia, because 24% of Chinese turnover, actually, it's European Union and the United States. Russia, it's only 4%. That's why China is a really country that understands that why they should help to Russia and have the problems with the sanctions from the US and from other countries. Actually, those sanctions already influence on the fact that Russia could not sell its oil